He's so veiny. He's so veiny.
Aloha, Jeremy Vaeni here, and I am watching a random video that I put on my computer, I don't know, over a year ago, and then I got a bunch of these, right? For He's So Veiny, and then I forget about him because I haven't, been keeping up with the show. So now I've just gone back and I've picked one at random, and we're going to watch it together. It is called I Had a Spontaneous Kundalini Awakening, and you can watch the whole thing in the link in the description. You can also like, subscribe, and ring a bell to this video, to the one you're watching right now, and then you'll, when I get off my butt and do the next one, you'll be around for that. I will say that I started watching this, I started recording for this, and then I realized her setup for what she's talking about is very long. And so I've scratched that recording entirely, and I'm just going to pick it up where her alleged spontaneous Kundalini awakening happens, which I have not watched. But I will catch you up, and then I would suggest you go watch it because she seems nice. And her story is kind of interesting. She's in India. She's at a yoga, an intensive yoga training course. She's not feeling well. She's feeling under the weather. She has some sort of experience where, like, a woman who is supposed to be teaching asanas in Sanskrit is just speaking gibberish because she doesn't know Sanskrit. And so, and this woman here knows that and knows that she's fudging it. So she starts laughing, and like the whole energy of the room changes, of course, and she feels embarrassed for that woman, or that woman feels embarrassed, or whatever. And she's like, no, I'm not laughing at you. I'm thinking it reminded me of something funny from long ago, or whatever. She told some little white lie. And as a result of telling that little white lie, she felt anxiety. It like built up in her throat chakra. And then she, the next day she was ill, and the yoga teacher made her go to said you got to go to the hospital or something, but she's, it could be dengue fever. And she's like, no, it's not dengue fever. I don't think she said what it was, but she thought it was related to this throat chakra issue from having, I guess, caused an emotional stir and then lied about it. And so that's kind of where we are. Like, she goes back to her hotel room with her partner, and she's got a fever. She's feeling sick. And I guess this is going to lead to her spontaneous Kundalini awakening. And I will just say here what I said in the original video that I trashed before this moment, said it in the beginning, which is something that I've been saying all along. There are no, spontaneous Kundalini. I mean, in a sense, they're all spontaneous, but it's the death of self that is the trigger for this energy. And so all of these other things that people talk about in terms of symptoms and all of that, and I've said it before in other videos, but I'll just remind you that my position is, and no, actually the truth is, they've got to be talking about something else, whether it's chi or whatever other energies are floating around the body. They're being mistaken for Kundalini, and that's, there is no like hierarchical, like when I say that, I feel like people think that it's just, oh, only you have ever had this happen to you. You're special, and so you've got to maintain that by poo-pooing everyone else. And it's like, no, it's just mistaken identity. There's no better or worse. It's just mistaken identity. That's all. And I know that because it is perpetually ever present in one's life. This one. So I know of what I speak from direct every second of the day experience. Um, and so just be aware of that. Because I'm just assuming, unless I hear something else, that's what I'm gonna end on with this video. But what did I want to say about that? Oh, somebody had asked in a comment for one of the last two episodes I did, if where they can find me doing the Kundalini, whatever, letting it go and having it do its performance or whatever. Because that's what it is. You shut up for a second, and then this energy comes alive and starts moving you around and doing all kinds of healthy, fun stuff. And I had posted a link to a video where I've done this. I've got maybe 3, I think, online. But maybe I will record one just for this show, just to have it out there, and that will be my sum total answer to anyone's Kundalini claims. When they claim something, you can just point them to the video and be like, does it look like this? Because my feeling is, I guess the bad thing, I guess about the mistaken identity thing is, I think the reason it's so prevalent to say I've had symptoms of Kundalini, I've got this going on and that, isn't that I mean, of course, some people are blatantly lying and some people are delusional and lying to themselves, but this woman seems to be on the up and up to me. And so I think it's just what she has been told or read. I think it has been these other energies have been either purposely or mistakenly identified as Kundalini. And we want to keep it that way. We want that mistake to be out there because there's something that you can sell. It's a commodity, right? It's something that, like, if I explain the Kundalini stuff, I can't explain it and then sell you it. I can't sell it to you. It's just the death of self must occur, which means that you, being the self, can't do it because anything you do is still you doing something. So it's just a matter of understanding that to the depth point that the brain or the body shuts off the seeker. And so that's not really something that you can sell in a course to people, like breathing exercises or yoga or meditation, or, book after book. So I think we like that we have misidentified Kundalini, because it's something that we can say we have and actually feel special with or whatever, say we've awakened to, feel as though, oh, a lot of people are awakening to this, so something must be going on in the world. We must be transitioning to a new phase, a new age or something. And it's like, no, we're just misidentifying something and being duped by people who make money off that. Like, that's it. All right. So let's see what she's had. Because again, I don't want to say, like, I don't think she's lying in this, and I don't even think she's delusional in this. I just I haven't heard it yet, but I suspect we're going to come to mistaken identity because all the signs are there. Like, it shouldn't be important that you were sick, uh, or that your chakra was blocked or something. Like, that wouldn't be a factor. But okay.
So the flu I see now was basically the universe's way of getting me to lay the fuck down and surrender, because if I hadn't had such an intense flu-like experience, I would not have surrendered to what was about to happen. But my physical body was so weak by this point, and I was like sweating and I was just a mess. I'd stripped naked, I was on the bed, I had a banging headache, I felt so weak, and then the rains came. And I just let it go. Like, I let it all go. I was howling. And that was when the process began. Now, I've still not listened to it yet. I actually have audio. My boyfriend at the time recorded what had happened, at least an hour and a half of it. I have the audio on my phone, and I'm half tempted to insert some of it here just so you have an idea of what happened.
Yes, please do.
But I don't know if I'm going to do that because I still haven't had the guts to listen to it back yet. So, what proceeded to happen over the course of the next 3 or 4 hours was what I call the God explosion, or what I think could be described as the kind of acute Kundalini awakening experience.
Okay, before we get to that, I don't know what's going on there, but that ain't it. In fact, there are no vocalizations, really. The most vocalizations I've ever had are like that kind of thing. Just breathing out with your face scrunched up, and it looks like a mentally challenged person trying to laugh, like, which is rare, but it happens sometimes when I'm in a state of just complete thankfulness. But mostly I think it has to do with, only because I've seen some other YouTube videos of meditators who, or maybe they're yoga people, I don't know, but scrunch up their face and do some sort of facial gymnastics that look exactly like what this thing does, and do these weird sort of animalistic faces and do that, those noises. Well, I don't know if I've heard those noises, but I mean, it's similar. It's the same faces and stuff, to where, again, I have to stress, everything that happens is for a healthful reason, and usually, from what I can tell, it's a healthy reason. So, yeah, so there's no like talking in tongues or whatever this is. Although it's funny that she made fun of a woman for talking gibberish, and here she is doing gibberish. So I like that. But I mean, I'm not going to judge what is going on here. I don't know. For all I know, she's possessed. Or maybe it is dengue fever. She said, this can't be dengue fever. It's got to be related to my throat. But can't it be both? You're in India.
So I was on the bed. I was, just letting it all go. I was howling. I was crying. And what started to happen was I began to slowly lose autonomy of my body. And what I mean by that is that I got a sense that I was no longer, Natasha, was no longer in charge, so to speak. Now, I know that sounds probably a little bit ominous, but I've had dark experiences before, and this did not feel malevolent in the slightest. It actually was a very profound experience, in that I was completely in witnesser consciousness. As in, I was observing all of this without any judgment. I was just witnessing it all happening to the physical vessel that maybe I have identified as Natasha at one point, right? Or had identified as Natasha at one point. I was just watching the physical vessel being moved. I was watching my arm being guided to move a certain way. I was slowly being turned, because what happened during that experience was I actually then re-experienced trauma from several past lives. Past lives.
Okay, see. This is what bothers me. I just told you about moving, and she's talking about moving on your own. And this is the problem. This stuff is out there, right? Like, nothing I've said about Kundalini hasn't been said before. I've just narrowed down what it is, so it doesn't include all the other accoutrement. But I wish there were video of this, because anytime I've seen someone else, with the exception of one woman on YouTube who I tried to contact and I can't get in touch with her, She's the only one I've seen who looks to be doing authentic, this is it. But everyone else I've ever seen who claims that they are being moved by Kundalini is doing something either a little too on the nose with the descriptive, like it's a serpent energy and they're writhing around like a snake. So they're just mimicking what they've heard, consciously or unconsciously, that it should be. Or they do, sort of weird movements that they were taught are the Kundalini and may have originally at some point, but aren't what you're doing. And what I mean by that is, like, for instance, like your head may do this for a long time, for a little bit. And then you start doing other things, right? Like it's sort of cracking your neck and clearing your head and putting you in a certain headspace or whatever. And then other things. But when I see it online, it'll just be that forever and ever, right? Because that's what they were told the movements look like. So they're like, oh, I'm spontaneously moving. And there's no rhyme or reason to it because it's just what you were taught to do or to think should happen. And I guess what I'm saying is this is an intelligence, and therefore it is always doing intelligence. It's always doing intelligent things. So if the movements aren't reflecting that, then it ain't happening. And then you got to look at yourself and ask why. Am I defrauding myself here? Am I doing what I think I should be doing unconsciously, or am I consciously like willing this to happen because I want it to be true? So I'm going to keep watching this here, but as soon as you start talking about I'm dealing with karma of past lives, that is shady to me. I mean, first of all, how would you know that? Somebody told you that, right? Unless these past lives are all coming to you and you're seeing them or something. But even the way she described witnessing this happening to her body, no, you're right there. I mean, I guess you could call it that. But so if I shut up for a second and my hand starts moving around, I'm not outside my body witnessing this. I'm here. It's just I'm not doing it. So these are just the little things to look out for, I guess, when watching these things.
At least one of them that I had an awareness of, which was actually a past life that I'd gone into regarding my twin flame, a very upsetting and kind of brutal experience with my twin flame in another life.
Okay, all right, now I get it. Damn it, I wanted to like her. But is this part of that twin flame cult crap? You found your person who's like an extension of you from past lives or whatever. Now you're stuck for eternity or through some love bond. Like, why? All right, my disappointment clearly is setting in.
And so I essentially was moved through the death that I experienced in that life again. And I relived that death. And my body was moved in the same way that I was moved in that life when I was being killed. And I was basically seeing it all playing out. And then I was moving through all the emotion that was being experienced in that life, in that incarnation. I can't explain it. It was like I was experiencing immense agony, immense despair, immense sense of betrayal, because in that life my twin had, well, I can explain briefly that my twin and I in that life were brothers, and we were soldiers on a battlefield. And I, from what I can understand or what I've garnered, I was set to inherit either a kingdom, I was a lord of some kind, I was set to inherit something, I was the older brother, and he'd killed me in battle so that he could be the one to inherit rather than me. And during that death, he stabbed me in the back. I mean, it's all absolutely bonkers once you understand.
It's not absolutely bonkers so much as it's absolutely imaginative. And here's where I will be as generous as I can possibly be. Sometimes it's just you making shit up. And sometimes the universe will help you with that. So I don't know I don't know if she's making shit up. I don't think she is, but she's clearly way into the twin flames stuff and the yoga and the whatever. It's the scene, man. So this is the way her mind is working. So this is what she's going to conjure. And if you are having a moment of real deep illness, almost maybe even life-threatening illness, will the universe not also step in to reinforce how you believe the world works in that moment, and give you the sense of, well, I guess in this roughly being upgraded. I mean, this isn't like a near-death experience, right, where she's feeling like she's going to go to heaven, or she feels loved necessarily. No, this is like sort of the enlightenment. This is a faux enlightenment experience involving past lives and this energy in her, things that she has been prepped to experience. So I feel like perhaps something like that is going on, where she's sick and she's predisposed to believe these things, and the universe is stepping in to go, yeah, you're okay. These are real. And now you're, a higher version of yourself at the end of this. Some people have near-death experiences and they go to heaven and come back and are like, oh, that's real. And that's the higher version of themselves, the validation. I guess that's what it is. The universe has no problem validating you, no matter what you believe, and then you think that thing was real. And meanwhile, everyone has access to that same validation for a whole multitude of even sometimes conflicting things. It's just kind of what happens.
You understand to know who my twin is. He's a chiropractor. He stabbed me in the back in this acute space where I've had a lot of issues. And then he turned me over so that I could see that it was him that killed me. And that was the moment when I saw that during this experience, that I just fell apart in despair, in the sense of betrayal. And it was crushing. It was just absolutely crushing. And I just, another wave ripped through me, and my body started to move and tremor. And what proceeded to happen after that, I'm not going to go through every single experience that I moved through, because in all honesty, I can't remember every single aspect. But what proceeded to happen over the course of that 3 to 4 hour period was, I was moved by the divine through a series of somatic releases, chakra clearing experiences. I started channeling light language, which at the time I had no idea what was happening. So I started to just channel all of...
I mean, do I have to go on with this? Again, she seems sincere enough. I'm willing to believe that the universe is screwing her over.
He's so